Jiutian is a large high-altitude unmanned aerial vehicle designed as a drone carrier platform, not a strike aircraft, meaning its primary function is to transport, deploy, and coordinate other drones rather than attack targets directly. And according to publicly reported design goals, it is built to carry internal modular bays capable of deploying up to approximately 100 small unmanned aerial vehicles depending on mission configuration, payload type, and drone size, with those drones launched from internal release systems, while Jiutian itself remains at altitude outside most air defense engagement zones, operating as a command and control node rather than a frontline attacker. And unlike conventional aircraft, it has no cockpit, no life support systems, and no pilot-centric limitations, allowing longer endurance missions and higher operational risk tolerance. While propulsion is believed to be turbofan-based rather than propeller-driven, prioritizing endurance and altitude over speed, though exact thrust or power output figures have not been officially disclosed, which itself indicates a focus on classified military performance rather than civilian transparency. And structurally, Jiutian follows a wide-body, high-aspect ratio design optimized for internal volume, enabling it to house drone launch mechanisms, communications relays, data fusion systems, and mission modules within the fuselage instead of external hardpoints, reducing radar exposure and increasing survivability, while its onboard systems are designed to integrate satellite communication links, battlefield networking, and AI-assisted swarm coordination, meaning Jiutian does not manually control each drone but distributes tasks dynamically across the swarm, assigning roles such as reconnaissance, electronic jamming, decoy generation, and target identification based on real-time sensor input, making it a force multiplier and a shift toward network-centric, algorithm-driven aerial dominance. What makes Jiutian truly different from a traditional airplane or even a conventional military drone is that it is not designed around speed, dogfighting, or direct weapon delivery, but around endurance, systems integration, and control of other assets, because unlike fighter jets that rely on engines for raw thrust, afterburners, and high maneuverability, Jiutian is engineered to stay airborne for long durations at high altitude, acting more like an airborne server than a flying weapon, and this immediately separates it from manned aircraft where pilot fatigue, oxygen systems, cockpit space, and emergency escape mechanisms impose strict design limits, while Jiutian removes all of those constraints and replaces them with internal volume for electronics, data processors, communication arrays, and drone deployment hardware, meaning every kilogram that would normally support a human is instead used to support the mission. What makes Jiutian truly different from a traditional airplane or even a conventional military drone is that it is not designed around speed, dogfighting, or direct weapon delivery, but around endurance, systems integration, and control of other assets, because unlike fighter jets that rely on engines for raw thrust, afterburners, and high maneuverability, Jiutian is engineered to stay airborne for long durations at high altitude, acting more like an airborne server than a flying weapon, and this immediately separates it from manned aircraft where pilot fatigue, oxygen systems, cockpit space, and emergency escape mechanisms impose strict design limits, while Jiutian removes all of those constraints and replaces them with internal volume for electronics, data processors, communication arrays, and drone deployment hardware, meaning every kilogram that would normally support a human is instead used to support the mission. When you compare it to a cargo airplane, the difference becomes even clearer, because a cargo plane carries static payloads that do nothing once released, while Jiutian carries active payloads in the form of drones that can think, move, communicate, and adapt, effectively turning one aircraft into dozens of independent airborne units, and structurally this shifts the entire philosophy of air operations, since a traditional airplane is a single point of failure where one hit can end the mission. But Jiutian is designed around distributed risk, where losing individual drones does not reduce mission success, because the system expects attrition and is built to function through it, operating as a layered modular, AI-assisted platform that can evolve through software, payload, and drone upgrades into a long-term strategic asset rather than a disposable weapon. To understand Jiutian's real impact, you have to imagine an actual battlefield scenario where traditional air defense relies on predictable patterns. Radar detects fast-moving jets, missile systems track trajectories, and pilots respond within human reaction time. But Jiutian flips all of that logic by launching a swarm of drones from high altitude while itself remaining far outside the engagement zone, with the drones acting autonomously yet cohesively, some jamming communications, others acting as decoys, appearing as high-value targets to draw out missiles, reconnaissance drones feeding live data back to Jiutian, updating every second so the swarm adapts dynamically, and if a missile destroys one drone, the swarm instantly reorganizes, replacing the lost unit without human intervention, which makes Jiutian not just an aircraft but an entire airborne networked warfare platform. When you compare this to a fighter jet, it becomes even clearer, because a jet is fast, powerful, and can deliver bombs, but it is a single point of failure system where one hit can end the mission, while conventional drones like MQ-9 Reapers are mission-specific, remotely controlled, and limited by human operators, but Jiutian transforms one aircraft into dozens of autonomous agents, prioritizing internal bays, AI-assisted task allocation, modular payloads, and distributed intelligence. Overwhelming air defense systems designed for single targets, reacting faster than human decision cycles, removing pilot risk, enabling upgrades through software and new drone types without redesigning the airframe, and turning Jiutian into a long-term strategic asset, a mobile hub controlling an adaptable, intelligent swarm that proves the future of air dominance lies in distributed autonomous systems rather than single pilots and missiles. As we reach the end of this exploration, it becomes clear that Jiutian is not just a flying drone carrier, it is a revolution in aerial strategy, a platform that challenges everything we thought we knew about airspace, because while traditional aircraft and drones operate as single-purpose tools, Jiutian functions as a dynamic, intelligent system where one aircraft orchestrates an entire fleet of autonomous agents performing surveillance, electronic warfare, decoy operations, and precision strike simultaneously, and the implications of this are staggering. In real-world scenarios, one Jiutian could paralyze communication networks, blind radar systems, confuse command decisions, and neutralize defensive setups without ever being touched, all while remaining outside danger zones and continuously adapting through AI-assisted coordination. This highlights a fundamental shift from human-dependent warfare to machine-driven dominance, meaning future battles will not be decided by pilot skill or missile count, but by control of the skies through autonomous coordination and distributed intelligence. And the most fascinating part is that Jiutian is designed for evolution through software upgrades, new drones, and modular payloads, making today's version only a fraction of its full potential, which is why analysts worldwide are watching. Not just its specs but the doctrine it introduces, because Jiutian represents a future where one aircraft can shape the battlefield before anyone knows it has arrived, forcing a rethink of air superiority, and leaving us with a final question. If one Jiutian can do this, what happens when multiple Jiutians operate together like a single living organism? Hinting at the next chapter we will explore.